Shots fired. Bang, bang.
Yeah, you hate betting the first fight in terms of GP, in terms of like, I know you hate this for raw.
It's generally not good, but I will completely ignore that this week.
So look, like simply put, like I don't think the Petrovsky hate is worth it. I think Maximov wins, but like Petrovsky, man, like yeah, he's beaten 2 schlubs and he's beaten him in the 3rd round, but like, oh, he has no cardio. Well, I mean, you got to have some cardio to win the 3rd round, right? I think Maximov's just going to fade him like horribly. But what the bet I like the most here, and this is thanks to Wheezy, thanks to Probability. By the way, if you guys aren't watching Probability Thursday nights, Wheezy is like doing shit that like nobody's doing right now. Huge odds advantage to bet fight doesn't go the distance. Like the optics of Maximov's fight, I think skewed the line bad. Petrovsky is like a killer be killed guy. And Maximov has been thrown to the curtain jerker after saying, I'm only main cards now. Dana White's punishing him. Maximov needs a finish here. So to me, it's Petrovsky round 1, but not really. Like, don't bet that. That's horrible. I know people are big on the Maximov round 3 sub, and like that's sexy. Like, you know, I love plus 1800. But fight doesn't go is plus 110, and you get both their winning conditions. Like, if you want a safe-ish bet for this fight, I think this fight gets finished. And yeah, it's Petrovsky round. So Petrovsky round 1 or Maximov round 2 or 3. But you know, I'm Philly guy, Monk. You know, I got to back my Philly gym, man. And I can't like completely fade Petrovsky here, but even in a loss, he's probably all right for you for DK. He gets you like a round and a half of control. But I'm playing fight doesn't go at plus 110, dude. I think they're playing into Maximov's 2 fights. Look, he couldn't finish Punahele, who's like tough, and he couldn't finish new friend of the show, Cody Brundage, who like my boy. And that age is going to win. That win's going to age like really well, I think. But I think you know, Maximov between those 2 fights and moving up to heavyweight in the Contender Series, like he said, a night like better competition. And I think maybe late finish is good, but fight doesn't go in case you get that Petrovsky early finish. So you get plus odds for this for violence. Let's go, dude.
I love that. I might try to jump on that here right after the show, actually. Yeah, that's a great line. I don't see how this goes the distance, really. But if it does get to the 3rd round, I think you're right. Petrovsky could score well. Both guys huge wrestling upside. So I'm pretty excited for this one. Also, best beard on the card, Andre Petrovsky. It's not even a fucking contest. All right? And take it from me. Next fight, Carlos Candelario coming off the Dana White Contender Series going against Tatsuro Taira. We broke this one down like 2 weeks ago. I still feel the same way. I'm going to be playing Taira in GPPs because of the big, you know, obviously submission upside here. Whoops, I'm still on Maximov, of course. I messed up already. But Candelario did score 3.82 points per minute, and he has fought on the Dana White Contender Series twice. He is 1-1 on that show. A decent pace, but only 71 points when he won. That is terrible. Gave up 109 when he lost, and 4.5 points a minute is what he's given up. Taira, I have no stats on him. He is going to be the 1-inch shorter fighter and 2-inch reach advantage. Also, he's about 8.5 years younger than Carlos Candelario here. That's about the only stats I have for this one. I'm going to take a stab on Taira for GPPs, maybe a bit of Candelario too, just because I have no idea what's going to happen. Pretty high variance as far as DraftKings goes. So you have to have both sides. I'll probably be a bit heavier on Taira, but yeah, pretty much the same thing I said 2 weeks ago. What about you?
Candelario looked like an absolute
yeah,
shit
that's the
on
other
the scale.
thing.
I mean, Taira or pass. Let's move on. I mean, like, I'm not betting this fight. There's not enough information, dude. It's crazy to me to bet Candelario, who lost his last fight. And I think he won his last fight, but like didn't look impressive. But to say like to bet him as a 2-1, and it's plus 190, like it's not even. Give me him 5-1. All right, but hard pass. Hard pass, son.
I just messed up my whole thing, so let's go back. There we go. Hard pass. Next fight, Wheezy's favorite fighter, Virna Jandiroba, going against Angie Overkill Hill. Could be a sneaky one here. What do you got for this one?
Well, you got to think Verna subs in play at plus 275. It's her path to victory. Gordon knows. Gordon knows me. Gordon, for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure it's the next fight. I mean, what are you gonna do, dude? Like Angie Hill is like the judges hate her. Very clear path to victory for Angie Hill if it stays standing. Very clear path to Verna if it goes to the ground. What's weird to me is that Verna's money line is minus 170 and that her sub prop is plus 275 because I feel like if she doesn't get the sub, she loses. Like it's like the only way she wins is on the ground. So I like Verna here. Very handsome, sharp haircut, but play Verna sub at plus 275, or don't play the fight at all, because if this goes to the judges and Angie Hill loses, like, I mean, we've seen this show before. So like, how confident can you be at her underdog price? Like, because Angie Hill's win condition is plus 160. It's like his decision. She's not knocking her out.
No, I completely agree there. I'm right there with you. For that reason, I'm gonna have to play a bit of Jandiroba as far as GPPs go because of the sub upside. 3 points a minute, 94, 95 when she wins, but she is 3-3, so she has found ways to lose fights. Angela Hill on the other side, I mean, all 8 of her UFC fights have gone, or wins rather, have gone to decision. She's scoring 3 points a minute, but only 82, 83 when she wins roughly. Only, let's see, 2 of her fights, she scored over 100 points. I mean, is she going to knock Jandiroba out? I'm kind of with you on this one, leaning to the no side. So maybe play Hill if you're thinking cash, or if you're thinking Hill, play her in cash. If you're thinking Jandiroba, maybe play her a bit in cash, but she's the GPP play on this side of things. And at 8,500, that is the magic salary. Now, this is a strawweight fight. You'd rather it be the women's flyweight. That does make optimal lineup at a much higher percentage, about 10% higher actually than the strawweight division. But in this case, I do think Jandiroba could get a finish here on Hill, but she is pretty tough, so this could easily go to decision. That's probably the most likely outcome, is obviously one of these women wins by split decision. So I won't be too high on it, but I will have a bit of Jandiroba in the next one, or for GPPs. Let's get to the next one. Lou's absolute favorite fight, Michael Johnson against Alan Patrick. And let me just say, well, I'll start this one, Lou. Alan Patrick looked awful on the scale. I don't know if that's just how he looks when he weighs in, but he was shuffling up there like he was on the deck of a cruise ship. I mean, it looked really bad. He dropped to his knees right after and thanked God, but I think he just couldn't stand anymore. I have no idea. Both of these guys, I actually do like the Alan Patrick side for GPPs way more than Johnson. He outscores Johnson in every single way. The only stat that Johnson is better than him in is opponent DraftKings points per loss. Johnson gives up less when he loses, and he has had several losses. This guy is 11-13 in the UFC. 2.4 points a minute. I'm not going to be playing him. Oh God. I mean, I guess I'll have to have a little bit in GPP just for the unique lineup possibility, but I don't know, man. It's going to be a very low percentage, probably for both guys. I don't see how this one goes the distance. I mean, one of them's just got to collapse at some point. So for that reason, I'll have to play both sides for bigger tournaments, but I'm not happy about it, and I'm not looking forward to this fight. What about you?
Well, what's crazy is like the under is plus 120 for a fight that I mean, there's no analysis here. This is a fight between Michael Johnson, who just can't win. 3-8. 3-8 is a favorite. Like, and then Alan Patrick, who I have, Patrick traumatic stress disorder over this guy. So if you've watched the show, how do I bet fights don't make sense?
Here it is.
I'm not trying to I'm not trying to channel Enzo Amore, but what do we got over here? What do we got over here? A couple of yam bags, a couple of taters. How else do you bet this fight?
Love it.
So I have thrown my biggest yam bag bet ever on this fight. $30 because I just can never really justify this bet. $30 to win 600 on the bags.
600 on the bags. That's oof.
And I have 10 on the draw at 55 to 1 because if you bet on this fight, the hell narrative is you don't deserve to win. Okay, cool. I'm betting on nobody to win. So I would recommend no bet. But if you have to bet, just this is your fight. You're like, yep, Alan Patrick will just, hit him in the balls like hurt and be like, I'll take the point. So
Yes, I cannot possibly continue unless you take a point. Yeah, I love it. Let's get it, man. This has Yambag
let's move. Let's move on.
I
I hope this is Alan Patrick's Alan Patrick. Stop, dude. I hope this is Alan Patrick's last fight ever. And I don't mean just like in the UFC. I mean unless he gets into a fight with what's that Vasily? What was the Russian ref from the Santos fight?
Oh God.
Yeah, give him that ref. Where it's nope.
Vasily something.
Right. Nope, don't care that you were hitting the nuts. Let's go, dude.
Next fight, Vivian Arujo going against Andrea KGB Lee. Lee coming up, I believe, to women's flyweight. And she is going to be taller and a longer reach than Arujo right off the bat. She does score pretty well as far as DraftKings go. 3.61 points a minute, 91 when she wins. But Arujo has a good defensive pace, 2.62 a minute, and 70 is what she allows, and 76.21 is what she gives up when she loses. Both women here under their average salary by $380 some. I'm liking the upside of Andrea Lee here. She has made the optimal lineup in 2 of her last 2 fights. So I mean, I'm loving that. I love the 91 points per win. The only problem is Arujo has a bit, too good of defense, I think, at least statistically. So it's going to be a bit harder for Lee to maybe, get to that 90-point range. But I do like her for cash. I think she wins this fight over Arujo. And I will be playing her in GPPs as well, just because, I mean, when she wins by knockout, 103. When she wins by sub, 115. I mean, not so many in a decision, 78, but that is more than Arujo scores. So for that reason, I'll be playing her both in cash and a bit in GPPs. Arujo scores, again, decent per minute, but only 81 when she wins. So I will be a bit less exposed to her as far as DraftKings goes. What do you think? Do you have any action on this women's flyweight fight?
I won't have any action pre-flop. I think this comes down to, can Arujo get the takedowns first round? If she looks good, her cardio is a little bit questionable, but both of these, Andrea, this fight just screams split decision. So if you want to bet that, that's okay. But I'm laying off this completely. This is a turd card, and this is the kind of fight that you might feel compelled to bet knowing it's a crappy card. So I'm laying off this.
Yeah, don't go hunting for action this week. That's a bad week to do that.
I mean, even the over 2.5 is so juiced. So I lean toward the Arujo side, but I mean, I can't, dude. I can't in this fight. I would say after round 1, if Arujo's been taken down, Arujo's taken down Lee a lot, but Lee's not hurt. I might look at Lee as a live bet, but not for me on this fight.
Yeah, I agree completely. I do not like it for DraftKings, except for that Lee upside is a bit tempting, but not too much. Next fight, Jake Hadley going against Alan Nascimento. What do you got for this one? Because
hard pass.
I hate it for DraftKings.
Complete pass. Complete pass, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. This Cage Warriors thing, I don't know if Dana White's we're paying, I don't know what kind of deal they have with Cage Warriors, but Ian Gary has not looked super impressive. No. Dean Barry, I mean, I won money on that. Right. Well, I won money on Mike Jackson with that, but I don't know what kind of deal they have, sending all these guys over, but I mean, look at Hadley's Contender Series fight. He didn't look great in the first. Like Mitch Rapopo won the first round, and he was there 2-3 days short notice. And then he kind of gassed and Rapopo, like Mitch Rapopo, like just went he had nothing. And then, like, if you remember that, like, Dana White signed him and Sean Shelby, like, walked off. He's like, this is disgusting. Like, why are you
That
signing
is that guy. I forgot about that.
Right. So, like, there's a narrative here where they're like, you know what? Cool. We're going to give you the hardest matchup we can find of an 0-2 guy we have. But, like, again, like, playing into the Candelario thing, like, oh, well, he lost. Like, how is he, like, the sexy pick? How do you bet Nascimento? Like, he hasn't shown that he can win the UFC. So, like, to me, he's unbettable. But Hadley's unbettable at minus 200. So, I just, and even his decision props plus 100. It's like, there's no line here that's bettable. So, just pass. Complete pass.
Yeah, I agree. I hate this fight for DraftKings too. I mean, both guys just getting killed in takedowns. Like in their one fight, 33% takedown defense for Hadley, 20% for Nascimento. Everybody's on Nascimento, or a lot of people are, because he trains with Charles Oliveira. I guess that means he's taken a couple pictures with him at the gym. I know he trains at Shoot to Box, but I mean, they're in vastly different weight classes. Obviously, I know they can still train together, but it's not like he's sparring or it's his main training part. You know what I mean? Like, I think people are just getting a little too crazy about that stuff. That said, Jake Hadley is not a guy that I'm confident that's going to come out and just put Nascimento down. I like the wrestling he showed, I guess. 0.93 points a minute in takedowns and control time, and Nascimento allowed rather in his one fight 2.78 points per minute in grappling. So I guess give me Jake Hadley. Can't put anything on Nascimento. I guess I'll put a little bit of them, each of them, in GPPs, but I like Hadley to win. But I hate that salary. 8,800 is way too much for him. So I will be very, pretty low exposed to both of these guys. But I'm not going completely zero because, again, this has a who knows factor written all over it. So next fight, we will just keep it moving. The return of Frank Camacho. And I know you saw the weigh-ins with Frank Camacho. Bit of an odd bird, an odd duck, as they say, that Frank Camacho. Going against Manuel Torres here, El Loco. I'll go ahead and start this one because I think I know your stance on it. You have to play this for DraftKings GPPs. I don't like either guy for cash, but you got to play Torres because Frank Camacho is not trustworthy whatsoever. His chin betrays him constantly. He's got a 2-5 record in the UFC. 4.21 points per minute is what he allows, and over 104, almost 105 is what he gives up when he loses. Meanwhile, Torres, if you put DraftKings scoring on that DWCS fight, 110, almost 111 is what he would walk away with. 4.79 points per minute just in striking. That does not count the knockdown at all. I mean, I'll be higher on Torres here, but I have to play a bit of Camacho as well because who knows about Torres? He's coming off the Dana White Contender Series. You got to fade a lot of these guys. It's just an automatic most of the time. This time, I do think that he gets it done, though. I think El Loco can come out here and finish Camacho. I will be looking for that. I will be high on him in DraftKings. But like I said, I'll also be playing a bit of Camacho in case I'm wrong. And Camacho, his win condition is like knockout inside the first 90 seconds. So that would score very well if you had him in your lineup. So that's how I'm going to play this. How are you thinking?
Simple. Fight doesn't start round 3 is minus 130 on a couple of books. And if this fight goes to the third, then who knows what they have left. But I can't like blindly back Torres off the Contender Series. Like, he looks good. There's no footage of his fight that didn't go the distance. It's weird. Like, and Camacho, the Justin James fight, not a great look. But we've talked about this before about the whole angle of like guy coming up to Contender Series as a favorite, and it's weird. So I'm just gonna bet violence. Like, fight doesn't go to the third is minus 130. That is way good for me here.
I love it. Yeah,
way good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love that pick. Might have to tell you on that one as well, actually.
And by the way, like
No way.
this is gonna sound really strange, but Camacho allegedly has this great jiu-jitsu game. Like, on the regionals, it's okay, but like he hasn't shown it. But like, his sub prop is like plus 1100. I'm not saying blindly bet it, but like,
Yeah, it's almost 1,000 on average.
I know, but like, it's like, this is like my Kyler Phillips sub prop where like he had no subs and
Yep.
like, here we go. And could Camacho like come out there and say like, I'm going to get fired if I lose and try a ground game? No, I mean, like, it's not unrealistic. Like, it's kind of an interesting flyer. Now, like, but again, like sticking what we say like all the time, it's not like Camacho has shown it. So like me blind betting the sub prop is stupid. I'm just saying it's not like that's why I like the violence aspect of this fight. But could Camacho be like, let's go to the ground and this not be like a stand-up affair that everybody thinks it will be? It's possible because his job's in the line. So
For sure.
don't be surprised this isn't just a stand-up thing. Like, but I still can't again, he's never had a sub in the UFC. Like I can't,
Yeah, that'd be a tough one to bet on for sure, especially against Torres. I mean, he has lost twice by sub, but still, it's probably just a function of him being a bit younger. And let me not screw this up for like the 800th time today. Next fight, the Scream Queen, the decision machine, Katlyn Chookagian going against Amanda Ribas. What do you got for this one? Because this one is pretty easy as far as DraftKings goes.
Well, I mean, to me, it's very clear that Chookagian has decided advantage on the feet. I don't think Ribas can take her down. What's crazy to me about this fight is that the KO prop for Chookagian is like depending on your book, it's like plus 400 or plus 500.
Why?
Well, right. But like, right. So like, why? Like 10-1. Okay. Like, sure. I mean, I know I've heard people death taxes and Chookagian decision. It's like, okay, so Chookagian minus 180 to me is a parlay piece, like the pride of Norristown, Pennsylvania, Philly guy, whatever. But like, doesn't this win with her allegedly landing 140 strikes, but really landing like 40?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. I think Chook decision is a good look, but like, just take her as a parlay piece. Like, I don't see how Ribas takes her down, and I'm not buying in this like whole like this plus 450 on the KO it's like banana land, dude. Like it's bananas to hear this. So just Chookagian as a parlay piece, man. What do you got? You can't play this fight, can you?
What's that?
You can't play this, can you?
Not for GPP. I mean, if you're gonna play a bigger tournament, you play Ribas, obviously. But I mean, Chookagian's been finished twice in the UFC, but never by sub, only by KO, TKO. So I'm really not expecting that from Amanda Ribas, who's also 6 inches shorter than Chookagian and has a 2 or 3 inch reach disadvantage. So this size difference is going to be gigantic. Chookagian's going to just jab and voice jab her way to a decision win, in my opinion. I will not be playing Chookagian in bigger tournaments, only playing her in cash. She should be an automatic 70 points. Nothing exciting. This is make something to eat fight right here. Make yourself get that rotisserie chicken onto the big old freaking thing and get it in your deal and let
chicken parm. You taste so good.
Oh, that sounds good for sure. Yeah, and Gordon, exactly. Size matters, unfortunately. So, especially in this fight, I don't see how Ribas even gets in for a takedown whatsoever. So, give me Chookagian by decision. I hate the salary, but I will be playing her a bit in cash, but not a ton. I don't know. Give me Ribas a little bit in GPPs, but like 10-15%. Keep the cap on that one pretty low. Coco main event, Luis Smolka going against Davey Grant. I'll go ahead and start this one. I like this one for DraftKings, actually, for bigger tournaments. Davey Grant should come out here and, theoretically should come out here and finish Luis Smolka in the first round. 3.23 points a minute, 95 when he wins. He is $1,600 over his average salary, so the odds and DraftKings both think that Davey Grant is going to come out here and finish Luis Smolka pretty quickly, so you are going to pay up for him. He has made the optimal lineup in 1 out of his past 3 fights. Let's see. Luis Smolka on the other side, his path to victory, obviously submission. He's also putting up rather huge DraftKings points, 3.67 a minute. That's fifth best on the card. When he wins, almost 110 points. His ceiling is one of the highest on the card as well. I mean, when he won by KO, TKO, 123. When he wins by sub, 107, almost 108. You got to play both sides of this one, although I do think Davey Grant is going to win or wins more than he loses. There is that Smolka sub chance, which I will be playing. And at 7,100, he's going to come in this week for some salary relief when you need it a lot. You know, you can get some with Petrosky as well, but I think Smolka with some of that salary relief is a good choice on the other side. So I'm picking Grant to win, but I love the upside of Smolka. So I'll probably be playing both pretty heavily this week. This is another heavy GPP fight for me. What do you got as far as any kind of angles for betting?
So what's crazy to me here is that Smolka or Grant in the distance is like minus 130, and Smolka's sub is plus 700 to 750, depending on where you see it. Like the best
right
bet
around
here,
689 on the aggregate.
like the best bet here is fight doesn't start the third is minus 128 on aggregate. But how do you not play the Smolka sub prop here? Like, I don't understand
That's
it. Like
7-1.
Well, like one of my gambling rules is like I can't play somebody who has like at a heavy money line if the opponent has a very clear path to victory. And like, yeah, Smolka got knocked out like in 40 seconds. I understand it, but if this hits the ground, like, and hit, by the way, some sites have like the double chance to sub decision. I've seen Smolka as high as like plus 470.
Oh my God.
But like, well, he's not knocking Grant out. Like,
no.
I mean, how do you like? I don't hate that at all. Like Smolka could wrestle F him, like, period. But I mean, like, it's a 36-year-old bantamweight, man. Like they're taking stock into these fights with Chito Vera, like where, yeah, I get it. Like, you know, Davey Grant looked good, and like I love watching Davey Grant. But Smolka can do the one thing that Grant can't really stop. And I think the violence is the best bet here. The fight doesn't start at third is minus 130, like 28. That's my best bet. But like Smolka sub is crazy not to take a poke at that at plus 750.
Dude, you're absolutely right. And Davey Grant, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows at this point, but 4 submission losses in his career. 3 of those have come in the UFC. That's 3 of his 5 losses. Also, he's 4-5 in the UFC, guys. So I mean, 44% so far compared to Luis Smolka's 50%. Not something I expected to see until I was reminded of it while I was going over the stats. But I completely agree with Lou there. Love the submission at plus 700. He's right. How do you not stab that?
It's right. I mean, whether or not it happens,
right?
Does it happen
For sure.
Was it happen 1 out of 7 times?
Easily, I think so.
Yeah,
I mean Davey Grant 60% submission in his loss rate. So I mean, that's huge. That's a huge number.
Yeah, and Smolka's on that whole like win-loss tip, which I don't buy into that whole thing, but like, but he got knocked out in 41 seconds his last fight. So I think that plays in this line. Like, I don't think the Grant should not be a 3-1 favorite here.
No, not at all. Not at all. I can't believe no one's made some sort of awesome comic book poster for this fight. We got Superman going against the Hulk. And correct me if I'm wrong, Lou, I believe that's DC versus Marvel. So that's a huge crossover that no one expected. So here we are once again, the UFC.
I'm Batman.
The UFC bringing us the fights that we never knew we wanted here. So Ryan Spann going against Ian Cutelaba. Why don't you go ahead and start this one off as far because I got a decent take for draft. I mean, that's the same take that everybody has, obviously, probably in the Cutelaba fight.
Hulk smash.
Yes, exactly.
Like I don't have any. I'm not reading into all these narratives like about his last fight. Like, if you want to look at Cutelaba the most, I would look at the Jacoby fight where he absolutely because Jacoby is proven to be like pretty decent. Cutelaba just like
durable to say the least.
But like had good cardio against Cutelaba, but Cutelaba wasn't defenseless in the third round. Oh, he only has 1 round cardio. Like, nah, Cutelaba, like, I mean, like everybody's like, well, this training camp, this. All right, well, we can only go on what we know from Cutelaba. And that is he can overwhelm Spann. Now, what do we know from Spann? We know that he has a tendency to like kind of quit on himself. So if I have to play anything, it's Cutelaba. In the distance is minus 155. The under 1.5 is like minus 150. So you may as well, if you think that Spann can like storm him, take the under. But I'm of the belief that Cutelaba can just like, he might break him in the third if he has to. Like, I like the minus 155 for Cutelaba in the distance. You know, I just, I don't know what Spann can do to him outside. Like, Spann, like, could flash sub him, I guess, like when they're wrestling.
That's what I was going to ask you.
I guess, but like, I think Cutelaba just overwhelms him and like spikes him and like German suplexes him over and over again until it's over. I realize you're probably going to have a take on playing Spann in DK, like at his salary, and I understand that, but I mean, his floor is like 0 points.
You're absolutely right about the floor part. I do like Spann a little bit for GPPs, but I mean, he has made the optimal in 1 out of his last 2 fights. And if I could actually scroll here, there we go. It was against Serkinov. Yeah, he also lost to Johnny Walker by KO TKO. Not a fight that looks good on your not a good loss to have on your resume. Ryan's, I mean, 3.36 points a minute, but he has that problem that, you know, a lot of these guys have, only 85 when he wins. He's been, you know, just does not put up a ton of points here. I'll be much higher on the Cutelaba side. He has one of the best scoring upsides out of anyone on the card. So I will be huge on him. He also made the optimal in 1 out of his last 2 fights. And at 8,900, he's like, what, the third or fourth highest fighter on the card. So he's going to be easy to get to for me. I will have, you know, probably upwards of 50, 60% Jan Cutelaba in this one. I'll have a little bit of Spann, but like you said, for that flash sub, or if Cutelaba shoots with his head on the wrong side or something crazy.
Well, what's his projected ownership?
I haven't looked recently. If I had to guess, I would say
60.
I mean, he's going to be a big name. I'd say around 50. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
So I'm going to actually, no matter what it is, I'll give this advice. I will be over the field most likely on Cutelaba, and probably over on Spann as well. Spann might be 20, 25, if that, maybe. So depending on where, if Spann's in the teens as far as ownership goes tomorrow morning, I might go a bit over on that. So I think the winner of this one probably makes the optimal lineup. Can you see Spann winning a decision over Cutelaba? I don't think so. I think he's going to, you know, if he wins, this could be a pretty high score. So I like this co-main event. I'm looking forward to, as soon as we get off here, watching the ceremonial weigh-ins for Cutelaba. I want to see him scream in Spann's face. That's always a good time. So I am leaning Jan in this one. But like I said, I'll have a little bit of Spann too, because you can't just play 0% of this light heavyweight fight, especially when Cutelaba has been chin checked before. That's the last thing I'll mention. Spann, the highest power index on the card, meaning he has more knockdowns per significant strike landed than anyone else, but he also has one of the highest chindexes as well, meaning he's been knocked down per significant strike almost more than anyone else. So 2 guys that have been knocked down, finished. You got to play both sides. I'm taking Cutelaba on this one. And with that,
can we also just mention that, like, you know, if people are just looking at Cutelaba's record, 2 of his losses are to Ankalaev.
Yep.
One was, I mean, he can say what he wants. Like, he still got knocked down.
Right. And whether he was faking or not, I have no idea.
But the more important thing is Ankalaev is like a legitimate, maybe the champion.
Yes.
So 2 of his losses in like a couple of months were to him. So like, just if you're looking just at the stats, like, conglomerate that into 1 loss. That's 1 loss, and he got owned. Like, he got owned 1 loss, and then look at the rest of his body of work. Like,
in his last 5, it's Roundtree Jr. smoked Devin Clark, and a draw against Dustin Jacoby, where Computer Monk thinks he smashed him.
And can we agree that the Khalil Roundtree win is like, it's aging well, because he's just coming in and like he's turned the corner and annihilating fools now. So like, Cutelaba is like, I was shocked he was 28. I'm like, if he's 28, like, I mean, my underwear is 28. Currently, my underwear I wear is 28. Like, I'm like, how is he only 28 years old? Like, it's crazy to me. Right. Like, he can grow. Like, And I hope they don't like ruin him and be like, well, like they did with Johnny Walker, where it's like, no, let's take all your like for all the knock on Johnny Walker, like yeah, Walker was like kind of a one-dimensional, but like there was a thing that made him marketable, and like I really hope they don't take that away from Cutelaba, where it's like that frenzied energy is amazing.
It really is. It's, you mean, you can bottle that thing, and the guy's going to show it. Like I said, tonight at the weigh-ins, he's going to do the exact same thing when he, walks to the cage, and he's going to do the exact same thing in the first couple minutes of the fight. 11 UFC fights. You're absolutely right. 28 years old. He's the Cheeto Vera of the light heavyweight division. It seems like that is a crazy. I didn't even know that. The last thing I'll say, Cutelaba has landed 17 takedowns in his last 2 fights. 17 takedowns.
Well, not 9 were against like Jacoby in the first round. Like you ragdolled him. I mean,
well,
like
Spann has a 57% takedown defense. So,
well, I got to be honest. Like I got to watch my language on the YouTube channel. I'm just saying, if you wanted a date with Cutelaba and he wanted to do things, I don't know what your resistance level is possible. I think if he wants to do things to you, it's
we'll just say if he wants to bother the waiter for more Cheddar Bay biscuits,
like you give him all the you just leave all the biscuits.
Yeah,
you give him all the biscuits because that man looks angry as F, dude.
What's the over under his painting his head green today?
Oh no, he didn't. But I was hoping we were going to talk over under biscuits because I'm starving now.
Oh Jesus! I might have to make some now. I got the recipe, baby. Let's go.
Like I feel over 8.5 biscuits for him, just like screwing around is fair.
He could do that with a smile on his, just like talking about his day before the food even gets there. Like two baskets minimum. Heavyweight fight. Last fight of the night, Lou. We are at 45 minutes just about. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate that. Hit that like, subscribe to the MMA Engine channel. It's me, Lou, Wheezy, and Brady. We bringing you tons of content, of hours of content every week before every UFC card. So thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate that. That said, Jan Blachowicz, main event going against Aleksandar Rakic. I'll go ahead and start this one off. Man, I think this one is going to be a good fight. I think this one is going to be a slower paced striking battle. Blachowicz 7,500 has made the optimal in 1 out of his 2 fights. I think a lot of people are going to be very low on him, as the salary would suggest from that display he put on against Glover Teixeira. I think, a lot of people super happy, as they should be, to see Glover win that title. But I think there's just too much, not hate, that's definitely not the right word, but just too much favor going towards Rakic here because of the Blachowicz loss. I just don't agree with it. I think Rakic wins this fight, probably by decision, but I don't think Blachowicz is going to come out here and get, finished quite as easily as he did last time. 2.69 points a minute, 96 when he wins. Rakic, the much more prolific DraftKings scorer, which is why I like him for cash and GPPs this week. 3.93 points a minute, and actually not so much GPPs, mostly cash. 99 points when he wins. So if you do think Rakic can come out here and finish Jan, then by all means put him in a bunch of GPPs. But he also has a tremendous defensive pace, allowing only 1.55 points a minute, 67 in his one UFC loss. Both of these guys are right at or under their average salary. Fantastic to get to. I like Rakic for cash. I guess I'm going to be playing a bit of him in bigger tournaments because of that pace and the scoring per win. But I just don't see this fight finishing, to be completely honest. I think it goes 5 rounds, and the winner probably puts up, maybe 80 to 90 points. I think it's going to be a slower striking battle. Both, Rakic with the 1.55 defensive pace, Blachowicz with 2.43 defensive pace. If anyone's going to be landing takedowns, it's probably going to be Jan, but Rakic has shown, he hasn't given up anything as far as ground game. So give me Rakic for a decision win. Pretty low expectations for bigger tournaments, but I don't mind him in cash. Maybe a bit of Jan for bigger tournaments. What do you got to finish this card off, the main event?
Terrible main event. Rakic.
I tried to make it more exciting than it is.
I think Rakic's decision is the only way to bet it. I think Wheezy told me earlier today he had Rakic round 4 or 5 decision at like even money. I think if you can find that, that's good to go. I don't want to like overblow. Like people are like kind of crapping on Blachowicz, like how bad he looked last fight. But the one thing that I noticed last fight, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this week, is like the first round, like you saw that like Teixeira was cranking on his neck. Like I don't know, and like nobody's talking about this all week. But I know, but like he went back to his corner and they're like, oh, he doesn't look right. Yeah, he didn't look right. Blachowicz Teixeira was cranking his neck. Now, if you look at Rakic and the way he like kind of attacks and like he doesn't fight like that. But now can Rakic control him? Yeah, and his distance is good. I think we're in for a very boring. I'm actually not betting the main event at all. I think Rakic's decision, but do I want to root it? I don't want to root against Blachowicz. Like, I'll tell you this right now. I don't know that the price is going to get better than minus 200. Like, I don't know if it's going to expand, but man, if Blachowicz gets to like plus 180, I don't know how you don't take a poke on the former champ that way. At plus 160, I feel like this line is it's like a dangerous trap.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, that plus 180 might be a little bit more. I think Rakic is just going to try to lull him in. These guys are just going to be staring at each other, throwing out jabs here and there, a couple of bigger power shots. But and somebody brought it up. Actually, I want to look at this. Jan Blachowicz for the Polish power. I guess that's not even right. He does have 6 knockdowns. I think I just read a stat wrong, but either way, 6 knockdowns in 17 UFC fights is not a great number. I mean, 24th highest power index at light heavyweight. That is average out of 47 fighters. So I mean, I'm not trying to diss Jan at all, but with every day that passes, every day he's closer to 40. That is the last thing to go, they say, but still, I think Rakic is just going to be able to keep the distance here, and it's going to be a slower decision fight that I'm not going to be interested in for bigger tournaments on DraftKings. There you go, Lou. I don't have anything else to say about this card. We finished it up at record time, but that's partly the UFC's fault. We only had 11 fights to work with, and as far as the fighters to work with, not much as far as experience. So pretty easy to talk about this week. I hope everybody, I wish everybody rather the best of luck in their bets and everything this week. Check us out, MMA Engine. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out all of our stuff on our independent channels. You can find me, MonkMMATics. You can find Wheezy over at Uncle Wheezy, and then Brady is at DFS by the numbers. And I think, Lou, you don't have a channel yet, but being the internet sensation that you are, I'm sure it's right around the corner. You have content coming out your ears, bud.
I hope to God it's not.
You hope to God it's not right around the corner?
No, I'll never have my own YouTube channel.
Well, there you go. That means if you like Lou, you're going to have to subscribe to the MMA Engine. That's
in all fairness, I just would rather like be the IT guy and never be on YouTube again, except for this one show a week. Like, but guys, good luck. Like, good luck betting this weekend, and I got nothing more to add to this card.
There we go. Well, guys, yeah, I echo Lou. Good luck this weekend. Have a great Friday night. Throw some SpaghettiOs at your kids and have yourself a good time the rest of the Friday. As always, I want all of you to enjoy the fights. So enjoy, and we will see you next week on Happy Hour. Have a good one.